All right, what's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, August 27th. Price of Bitcoin currently at 48,963. Looks like we came very close to tagging this weekly open level around 49.2K. I pointed out earlier that we are in this descending channel earlier on, and it looks like we're finally trying to make our way out of this channel. And the only thing that I'm a little bit concerned with going into the weekend time is it looks like this kind of price action is just slowly kind of grinding down into this 46,500 SR level. If this level can hold, I think there's a pretty high possibility that we reach 51, maybe as high as 55K headed into the weekend, maybe even next week. Now, obviously, I've been saying this for almost like a week and a half, 2 weeks now from way the heck back here. But I believe progress has been slow for BTC to push up because progress on other fronts in the market has been very strong. What I mean by that is if we kind of compare the outlook of BTC versus other altcoins, Bitcoin progress has been very slow in terms of price action. You could see other altcoins have done tremendously well, basically from the beginning of August. Sitting at the top of our list is Luna, Solana, Rune, Alpha, Cake, Perp, GRT, so on and so forth, all the way down. What's more abundantly clear is the market right now is almost gravitating towards the L1 ecosystems, which is the main trade that we've been positioned in for the last several weeks, really. You guys know very well, those of you who are Advantage members, that in the 5K account, when you took on a bunch of trades in the 5K challenge account, small positions, but nonetheless, basically in a span of 24 hours, we made a nice, $600 to $700. And then we closed out these trades just a couple of hours ago. Okay, now these are levered trades, but in our spot account, you guys know very well, we have a bunch of positions in the market, starting off with Solana. We have positions in Sushi, Perp, Ethereum, and many other assets, really, all of which are actually doing well. Our positions so far have been consistently at the top of the list in terms of market movements, right? Here and there, you might see some laggards. For example, Perp really has not been doing that well over the last, say, week or so, but it's not terrible. Like, we're still up on the position, but we're not up as much as, say, Solana, because Solana we got into almost like around, I want to say around $41, $42, and we've basically doubled our money. Sushi we got into, I think, somewhere around maybe $11 or $12. That one is maybe up barely 10% or so, but still nonetheless pretty decent gains. But all in all, once again, we keep going back to why is the market pumping up these L1 ecosystems? And I believe that's because when the market itself is positioning to be a little bit more bullish, to grab more and more people and pull them into the market, that has to deal with where exactly is the majority of the money flow going to head into. And that's going to be platforms at the top of the food chain, which are assets like AVAX, which are assets like Luna and ADA and Solana and Rune. The reason why these are pushing hard is because at the end of the day, a majority of the yield, a majority of the activity, a majority of the utility is actually done on the ecosystem itself, and then underlying that is the apps. So one specific example that I've told you all before is AVAX. Now, you guys know we talked about AVAX even in July. We wrote a pretty massive, research paper on AVAX in July. Now, sadly, FTX doesn't really offer AVAX spot position, but we've been talking about AVAX for a little while. And the one thing that we did get involved in terms of AVAX is the different yield farms and staking opportunities. Now, you guys know very well in the farming and staking and lending channel, which is right here, I pointed out multiple opportunities for y'all. One of the opportunities is, and I'm going to try to not dox myself in terms of my address, so I've changed the network over here, but one of the opportunities that I told you about is, first of all, what you do is, you can basically have some AVAX, some USDT, Ethereum, or WETH, and you could change that to the Joe token. Okay, so this is the Joe token. Once you get that Joe token, the second step is you can stake that Joe token into XJoe. So when you stake it here, it turns into the XJoe token. Okay, are you guys following me so far? Okay, so you would have to connect your wallet, have some Joe, then you stake it and convert that into XJoe. Once you get that XJoe, then you take the XJoe, you go into farm. Whoops, where is it? No, where's the? Oh, there it is, XJoe right there. Okay, then you pick this XJoe token right here. All right, and this is where you can basically add your staked tokens, and then you can earn yield, right? This is your APR that you get. Okay, this was one of the big opportunities. Now, if you want to start unstaking this and you want to start taking profit, what you basically have to do, first step is you unstake right here, which would be unstaking your XJoe tokens, okay? Then you go back into the stake button right here. Then you unstake your XJoe here as well, which will then convert to Joe tokens. And then you take your Joe tokens and then you can sell them from Joe to USDT or from Joe to AVAX, whatever you want to do. It's a very tedious process, but once you get used to it, you realize like, oh shit, there's some really amazing opportunities in here, a lot of money to be made, lots of APR. But the other risk associated with that is you can possibly get caught in an unwind of farms where here's what could happen, okay? Say the liquidity right now being added is about $91 million, right? Tomorrow, if some big whale wants to take off a bunch of liquidity, he might pull 20, 30, $40 million. And that causes this, liquidity cascade. And that causes more and more people to start pulling liquidity, which means more and more people will unstake their XJoe, sell it to Joe, and then sell it from Joe to, AVAX, or from Joe to USDT, whatever. So this is why sometimes you have to be careful about watching this liquidity and make sure that you don't get caught in that unwind, because if you do, you basically lose like 20, 30, 40, 50% in the span of several hours, and it sucks. And this is why when you do take on these opportunities of farming or pulling your money, just realize that it is extremely high risk. Almost be prepared for 20 or 30 or 50%, drawdowns in your position, in your farming positions to happen. Okay. So just wanted to mention that. But point is, I believe that the opportunities here are really good. I also pointed out this other opportunity for y'all, quite high risk. But once again, you can find out this YAC AVAX opportunity again in the first. You'd have to, once again, go back to the trade tab. You'd have to exchange your AVAX into, say, the YAC tokens. Okay. And then you'd also have to have some AVAX. Then you go here, you pull, and then you find the YAC W AVAX tool, the pool, sorry, can't talk. And then you add, whatever amount of YAC that you have, and then the equivalent amount of AVAX. Then you connect your wallet, do all that jazz. And once you have that, okay, it will basically convert the YAC and the AVAX into these combined tokens. Okay, so it would tell you like, okay, you've added one YAC and 100 AVAX, then you might just get only one pool token. Then you take that one pool token and you can go to your farm right here, and then you could type in YAC W AVAX right here, and then you stake that, and then once again you can earn some money here. Now again, very complicated process, very high risk, because liquidity at any point can be yanked and you could lose a shit ton of money. But I'm pointing out these opportunities is because AVAX as an ecosystem is really coming up fast, right? It's doing tremendous work. There are obviously risks associated with it, but you might get some pretty decent rewards if you do, maybe catch on to the right farm. Now, it's not necessary that you have to grab onto a super high APR or, slightly like lesser liquidity farm. Like I pointed out earlier, a farm that has, let's just say $93 million of liquidity might be slightly better, which is the XJO one, or the one with USDC, which is a little bit more safer because this is a stable coin. And so stable coins may not go down as much, when liquidity gets pulled. Okay, these are the opportunities that I'm just letting y'all know, how this stuff works. Okay. So let me see here. Let's see. Okay, market update real quick. We have a swing bull signal that finally came up just about, what was it, 3 days ago. And as per, this signal, typically, how I go about looking at it, or I'm hoping that, how Harry possibly looks at it too, is you're looking for a retest somewhere around this area. Harry, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but this aqua line that's coming up, maybe even this, trend maker ribbon that's coming up, we're hoping that price kind of comes into this area and bounces up from here. And that's really the best longing opportunity right there. Now, it's not necessary that price has to do that, because price could go up and then collapse back down, or it just keeps on going up. The point is, when you see a swing bull signal like this, it can be very fruitful. Okay, so keep that in mind, and just some things that you want to be paying attention to. All right. Let me see here. I found this very good ARCA discussion, which I've posted it in the resources channel right here. Okay, just so y'all can watch. This is all about, ARCA, the fund, and Jeff Dorman looking at the crypto market, looking at how, price action is going, how the secular trend is going, what areas of the market are doing well, what assets he likes, etc. So all that stuff is in here. So that's another thing. I'm kind of all over the place today, so I apologize, because there's just so much to discuss. There's just so much happening in the markets. It's just like, it's sorry about that. By the way, hey, can y'all still hear me? My internet connection just gave out for a second, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Yes, no? Okay. So yeah, point is, there's just so much happening in the market. I'm trying to do my best to cover everything for y'all. So on the other front, what's going on is obviously NFTs, right? I mean, everybody's talking about NFTs, and it's one of the reasons why headed into the weekend, I kind of TP'd a bunch of my levered positions here, just because I was like, okay, well, I made some, decent money in my main account, some decent money in the 5K account. Let's just head into the weekend and see what we get. Maybe good things happen into the weekend, we keep pumping, or we might go sideways or retrace into the weekend, in which case I could be a prepared buyer, right? Even if prices do come down, just FYI, right? I would probably still say that I'm more long biased than anything. I don't think that I want to be short going into the weekend, or even like into next week. September, I can see that there's an argument about the seasonality effect, like I've told y'all before, right? September typically over the last several years for BTC has had, 6 out of the last 10 years in September be negative month. So I am prepared for maybe a sell-off, maybe not that deep though. Okay. NFT side, this is the one NFT that I picked up. This is bikersnft.com. You could just click this button right here, mint your NFT. I just thought it was kind of cool. I was like, okay, if you want an NFT that's you can mint and that's kind of cheap, you can buy it right with connecting your MetaMask right here, and it's I think it's 0.1 ETH, so it's like $300 or so. it's kind of expensive, I understand, but just in case you wanted one, okay? So that's one thing that I'm into right now. Other than that, this episode was really good. You know, something that I posted about yesterday, game theory, you know, discussion about crypto. All in all, I still think that the market is relatively, you know, good, healthy going into the weekend time. But I would be a little bit more cautious, you know, in terms of just sizing up too heavily. I am still pretty bullish on L1s such as AVAX, Solana, Luna, Rune, and ADA. And let me see how ETH is doing here. ETH climbed up a decent amount today, up about 5.7% on the day, so not too bad. I thought that was a good sign too. And I think that's it. Are there any questions? Any questions? Based on daily swing indicator, I think ENJ and Matic could give us a nice opportunity soon as well. Let's check that out. Let us check that out. Okay. Yes. So really good, good find, Harry. So here's almost similar to BTC. Here's ENJ, right? Giving us that swing bull signal. Now, if prices were to collapse, say over the next few days, I would figure that ENJ would come into this area, bounce, and that might be your long trigger. Okay. So watch this aqua line. And if you don't have access to the indicator, please do ask myself or Harry. We can give you a couple of days of free access. If not, you can go to our website and sign up for the indicator. Okay. People have had tremendous luck and really good trade opportunities with the indicator. I myself have as well. So hope y'all want to use it. Okay. ENJ and Matic. So let's check out Matic as well. Yeah, there's no swing bull signal on Matic, but I could see how maybe Matic coming into this ribbon right here over the next few days, that might give us a nice bounce opportunity long there if you do get that. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. All righty, well, that's all I got, folks. Okay, have a good rest of your weekend. Make sure you don't size up too much. Move your stops up if you need to. Enjoy your time, have fun, and take care. Cheers.